Keeping red plants isn't easy. A lot of them need very specific conditions just to get that vibrant color. But there's one that doesn't make you jump through hoops. Rotala Narrow Leaf SP Red. This plant changes everything you thought you knew about red plants. And today, I'm giving you 5 reasons why you need it in your tank. The first thing you should know about this plant is that it will be red even with high nitrogen levels. Most aquarium plants, especially rotalas, need low nitrogen levels, somewhere between 5 to 10 ppm, to really bring out their red coloration. That's because the red pigments act as a sort of sunscreen, protecting the plant from intense lighting. Nitrogen, on the other hand, directly affects growth speed. The more nitrogen in the water, the faster your plants grow. And if they grow fast, their leaves aren't exposed to light for long, so they don't need to develop that red pigment as much. That's why most rotalas require low nitrogen to stay red. They need to sit under strong light for a while before they start producing those protective pigments. But Rotala Narrow Leaf SP Red, this plant is a beautiful exception. I've kept it in tanks with nitrogen levels as high as 40 ppm, and it still turns a beautiful deep red. No fuss, no special conditions, it just does it. That's what makes it so unique. Whether you are running a lean, low nutrient tank or dosing heavily with fertilizers, this Rotala stays red. It's an easy way to get that vibrant coloration without having to micromanage your nitrogen levels, which is honestly a game changer if you love colorful plants but don't want to stress over water parameters. Here's something I know you're going to love. Rotala Narrow Leaf SP Red doesn't need any soil. Crazy, right? Since it doesn't rely on low nitrogen levels to bring out its best coloration, it doesn't need to pull nutrients from the substrate at all. It can get everything it needs straight from the water column. I've been growing it without any soil for over a year now, and it's thriving in every setup I've tried. Lately, I've been experimenting, planting it between the leaves of my anubias just to see if it will work without affecting them. And it does. The Rotala grows beautifully, while the anubias, which love shade, doesn't seem to mind at all. The contrast between the two is honestly stunning. And now, I'm taking things a step farther. Remember the Risha treescape I did? I'm planning to do the same thing, but with this Rotala, since it doesn't need soil and grows well even when trimmed short. I'm pretty confident it'll work. Just look at my 50-gallon tank. This plant is far from the light, and it's still turning red. That's not something you see with most rotalas. It's genuinely one of the easiest, most versatile red plants out there, and I can't wait to push its limits even further. If you guys like this plant, I'm happy to let you know that I have it for sale in my shop. It's been grown completely underwater with CO2 and high lighting, and just throughout the month of April, I'm offering a buy 2 get 1 free deal. If that's something you're interested in, there'll be a link in the description. The next thing you need to know about this plant is that it's never green. No matter what you do, Rotala Narrow Leaf SP Red will always be red. And I say this as someone who has grown it under some questionable conditions. You know what I mean? Those setups that aren't exactly plant friendly. Maybe you are experimenting, trying something different, like no fertilizers, or even no filter. We all do it, sometimes just out of curiosity. Well, I've put this plant through those conditions, and I can tell you, it never turns green, always red. That's pretty rare, because most red plants need specific conditions to actually show their colors. Otherwise, they just stay green, or maybe take on a little yellow tint. Not this one. Rotala Narrow Leaf SP Red doesn't care. The shade of red will vary. It might be a bright, fiery red, a deep, rich red, or sometimes even a soft pink, but green, never. If you're looking for a plant that's going to stay red no matter what kind of setup you throw it into, this is the one. It's one of the most forgiving red plants out there, and in my experience, it's just as happy in a well-balanced high-tech tank as it is in a low-tech or minimally maintained one. Like I said before, this plant is not picky, so much that it grows healthy even without CO2 injections or fertilizers. Yeah, you heard that right. I've been keeping some in my shallow cherry shrimp tank, and this setup is as low-tech as it gets. No filter, no CO2, no fertilizers. The water's a little cloudy, which makes sense since there's no chemical filtration, no carbon or anything like that. But the shrimp are thriving, the plants are thriving, and my Rotala Narrow Leaf SP Red is doing great. It's growing a lot slower than in my high-tech tanks, sure, but the fact that it's growing at all under these conditions is pretty amazing. And it's not even planted in soil. I literally just tucked the stems into the holes of a piece of cholla wood, and they took off from there. This plant is seriously resilient. If you've ever struggled to keep Rotalas happy or worried that you need a high-tech setup to grow red plants, this one will prove you wrong. It adapts, it thrives, and it doesn't ask for much. If you haven't tried it yet, you definitely should. It might just become your new favorite. The last thing I want to go over is growth rate. Rotala Narrow Leaf SP Red grows fast. And I mean fast. In my high-tech tanks, I have to trim it constantly because it just keeps shooting up towards the surface. It doesn't matter if I plant it in soil or use it as an epiphyte, it grows like crazy. And the best part, it doesn't just grow fast, it grows well. Some fast-growing plants get leggy or start looking scraggly if they grow too quickly. But this Rotala stays compact and dense, especially under strong light. I've even tried letting it grow out without trimming, just to see what happened, and within weeks, it completely transformed the look of the tank. If you're looking for a plant that fills in space quickly, adds movement, and gives you that lush, bushy look without a ton of effort, this is it. And since it's so easy to propagate, just snip and replant, you'll have an endless supply in no time. Whether you want a thick background wall of red or a flowing natural jungle vibe, this plant will get you there fast. Just be ready to trim it, because trust me, once it takes off, it will take over. Those were 5 reasons why Rotala Narrow Leaf SP Red is an amazing plant. Let me know in the comments of any plants that you consider to be beautiful and unique. If I don't have them, I might give them a try.